Hello and welcome back to another Pyware tutorial. Today we're going to talk about the importance of planning. I want to show you a couple files that I use with my clients to make sure that I stay organized and I stay on task and I maximize my time in Pyware. Let's get started. Alright, welcome back to another tutorial. I want to talk today a little bit more about the importance of planning. Now if you're writing for a client, you'll want to use a contract just so that everyone is on the same page and the director has a copy of how much you charge, when the drill should be due, all the pertinent information so that everyone is organized and ready to go. So I usually send everybody this, and it has the school name, the director contact, the show title, and the year. And that's important just to have that for your records. And it will show what you provide. So a custom drill to match your instrumentation, PDF files of the drill and coordinate cards, video files of the music and drill synced together, and rewrites as needed. And you can add a fee for that if you think rewrites are going to be something you want to charge for. You can add other stuff like Ultimate Drill Book access and other of the options that Pyware does. This is pretty much the basic setup for what most people provide. How much you charge, the total. If you're going to write more than one show, the total shows. So that usually comes into play for college bands. Sometimes you write 2 or 3 shows for a college band, and how much the grand total is. When you would like a deposit, because the deposit is important so that you can get started. You shouldn't write drill for somebody if they haven't sent you a deposit for saying that they're going to pay you in the end. And then how much is due once it's following. Add your address so they can send you a check, or also add your payment information if you wanted to use an electronic form of payment. But your name and address needs to be on there, or your business address, so that they can charge you $10.99 for tax purposes. You'll want to have their Bandcamp date, or the date that they're going to begin learning the drill, the date that all of it should be there so that you're not late, and then a director's signature. And it's important to have them fill this out so that you've got in writing everything you need. From there, you want to send them a production inventory. Now the production inventory, again, has the school name and director contact, and then their instrumentation. And they can write in and type in this, and then you total it all up. I like to have totals for my woodwinds, for my brass, for my guard, and my percussion, and a grand total. I even like to have the front ensemble size, because if you have a front ensemble that's going to take up almost all of the front sideline, it's important for you to know not to write drill, but up to 4 steps behind them, or else the kids will get lost. Also, you want to talk to them about they need to write down the show title and a brief synopsis of the show. It's important to get that in the directors and the people's words, because sometimes they come up with a show design and we don't quite know what the vision is just yet. And that's okay, and this may be something that changes over time, but actually writing it down and having it in writing, a paragraph from the director and or the staff, whoever's putting this all together, is really important. Any of the musical selections, this is important because you may get a file that says, Malaguena, and then a file that says Cuban Fire. And that doesn't really explain which one goes first, which one goes second. So it's important that you get the musical selections in order so that you don't accidentally write things out of order. This can be an issue if you write for a college band and they have you doing tons of separate musical selections, and you want to make sure they get the right starting page for their next tune and the next tune after that. List any props with exact sizes and locations in the field. It's good to have these diagrams here because then you know how to put them into the drill so that you can have that a part of your design process. The last little bit here is really important. How long is your season? How often do you rehearse? What is your competitive level or circuit? It's important not to write 150 pages of drill for a band that rehearses 1 night a week. You need to talk to your directors and people about that, because it's important for you to give them a good product that they're going to be able to attain. Think about difficulty level. I like to think of mine in terms of A class, open class, or world class. So if you're familiar with the winter guard circuits or DCI, you can kind of think about the skills the kids should be able to do. World class skill set would say the students are pretty much able to march and play at a very strong level. Open class skills, those are the emerging skills. And that's where you need to make sure that you're writing moments for them to be successful at times, but then to keep things fairly attainable early. And A class is something where you write the difficulty level of your drill to make it as effective as possible, but also simple. So I like to think of it in those three categories. And then, of course, how many pages of drill are you capable of learning and cleaning? That's really important to have that information. They should definitely try to provide that for you so you don't end up writing 100 pages of drill for a band that's used to learning 40. Okay, and then another thing I like to do is go from there to a production plan. I like to do this all by paper and pencil, but some people like to do it where they write it down. So this is a production plan that I provide everyone who uses my tutorial series. And it's fairly simple. It's just like the production sheet in Pyware. So you just write the measures 1 through 4, 16 counts, and it helps all out there. What's the visual form? Well, we're going to start scattered. The wind should be in pods, batteries in pods, the guard is in pairs. Curvilinear drill as it builds to a block on the grid. Writing these things down will help you organize your thoughts. And sometimes I have the client do this, and then I'll go back and we'll talk through it once before I start writing. And then that way, they get exactly what they want. And that really is your job, to make sure that you provide them with what they're looking for, but then maybe offer some suggestions to go a different route if it doesn't seem to be as effective to the idea. So those are three things that I think are important to do for planning. I don't ever start a drill until this is done and I've got a good guard plan from the color guard instructor, and then I know that I can start putting dots on the page and putting their files together for the season. I hope this tutorial was helpful to you. Please like and subscribe my page. If you enjoyed this content, I plan on making many more videos in the future.